I would like to introduce Sonia Rodríguez Hicks. She's an assistant professor of Spanish and Latin American literature in UW's Department of Modern and Classical Languages. Her research focuses on Mexican women writers from the 20th and 21st centuries, examining identity, gender roles, and memory. She is interested in finding channels to advocate for democratic values and human rights for all democratic groups in Wyoming communities. Please welcome.
Thank you all for being here. Today, I would like to thank Scott Henkel, also Robbie, Tennessee Watson, and Amy for your support in this year in our Democracy Lab group. Right here, no? Yeah, I'm pretty short compared to everybody else, which is fine. The title of my project is Creating Awareness and Change Through Public Art and Testimonials, the Deported Veterans Diaspora Mural Project 2024. So in 2021, I visited Tijuana, Mexico, as part of a research project, and I visited this site of Playas de Tijuana, which is situated right at the Mexico-US border or US-Mexico border, where there is a mural. There are different murals, but this in particular is called Playas de Tijuana and was created by Lisbeth de la Cruz Santana, a Latinx scholar and activist who dedicated this mural to childhood arrivals. Childhood arrivals are people that were brought to the U.S., but that as minors, and then at some point of their life, they were deported. So borders are dynamic spaces transformed by cultural, economic, language, and other interactions that develop throughout time. And public art, in this context of contemporary global migration, can create social awareness through visual mediums. It can spark dialogue, encourage reflection, and can inspire action to further social justice. Next to the first mural, in 2024, the same scholar, Lisbeth de la Cruz Santana, and her team installed an additional interactive digital mural. And this is called the Deported Veterans Diaspora Mural Project. For my Democracy Lab, I focus on this specific mural that has 15 narratives of deported veterans from 10 different countries, as we can see in this map. These are hybrid testimonials because they have written text and also audiovisual. I would like to ask you, who has heard about the U.S. veterans, the deported U.S. veterans? Yeah, so some of you. I hope we can reflect a little bit on this mural. So I contend that these 15 testimonials show significant markers of patriotism in their discourse. That is, U.S. nationalist values that create an American identity and a sense of home and belonging towards the country where they grew up and served. Also, that stigmatization and discrimination by dominant institutions lead to inequalities and contradictions, such as the lack of a second chance for foreign-born U.S. veterans compared to national-born U.S. veterans in similar circumstances. So let me go back to this mural. The portraits and their digital narratives account for the experience of men and women veterans who, after deportation from the U.S. military force, committed a misdemeanor or a felony crime, served their time in prison, paid fines, etc., and yet were deported to their country of origin. As you can see, the art was installed on a solid, flat surface to attach the paintings. This type of public art is itself has the ability to attract attention from visitors with its shiny yellow background and on the top of the border wall. The large scale and public nature of murals, in this case portraits, allow for a powerful visual impact. They can effectively capture attention, tell stories, and foster a sense of connection. Now, regarding incarcerated veterans, according to Pew's research studies, between 47 and 52% of all veterans who were in combat suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, also from depression and health conditions, which may lead to substance use disorders, resulting in elevated rates of contact with the criminal justice systems. Although all those veterans who are incarcerated for more than 60 days can lose some disability compensation, U.S. veterans do not completely lose all of their benefits. In contrast, deported U.S. veterans have a double punishment. Not only do they spend time in prison, but they are also displaced to another part of the world that is foreign to them. To illustrate some of these narratives, testimonials, we have here the image of David Barrio from Kenya. So he was deported, and one of the parts that got my attention from his narrative it states, many of us are suffering not just from the pain from being separated from the country we serve, but also from health issues and the dangers of living in unfamiliar, often hostile environments. And what happens is that when they are deported to their countries of origin, sometimes they don't speak the language or they become the other in those countries. Then Gigi Kurian was deported to India, and he says, I enlisted in the army as a member of the Illinois National Guard. I joined because I wanted to serve my country. Sarah Ahmed, an Australian scholar, persuades us to think about home not only as homesickness, but also reminds us that home can also evoke bitterness. This is the case, for example, of Alex Murillo, no? Who states, I identify with being an American. It's not something, thank you, it's not something that you can take away with just deporting me. And he adds, we are going to get back home because what happens when we die? They ship our ashes back home and they bury us with honor. And they give us they give our family a flag that's folded up, and they give us our citizenship. This is the unfortunate case of Rudy Richardson. He was born in Germany and then was adopted by a U.S. couple. Then he was deported to Germany. He didn't speak the language, and then he became homeless. Then he moved to London and then managed to get to Tijuana, Mexico. And when he was living in Tijuana, he said, the thing that broke my heart was when I had to stand and see the fence from the other side. And I knew my house was 2 hours away and wasn't going to be able to go to it. That broke my heart. Unfortunately, Richardson died 1 week after he received a call from Homeland Security authorizing that he could come home. He came home and he became a U.S. citizen, but in a coffin. So Jesus Chuy Juarez, that's the same problem. So to conclude this presentation, I would like to say that public art confronts hegemonic identities, related to the other, constructing counter-identities that resist the system. In specific, the Deported Veterans Diaspora mural, Portraits and Testimonials, has provided a platform for community engagement and foster a more inclusive environment. So some of these veterans indeed have received humanitarian parole for 1 year, which gives them hope that they someday will receive citizenship, U.S. citizenship. So I would like to end with this quote by Theodore Roosevelt that was published in 1910 in the journal The New Nationalism. As for veterans of the Grand Army of the Republic, they deserve honor and recognition such as I paid to no other citizens of the Republic. For them, the Republic owes its all. For to them, it owes its very existence. Thank you.